Chapter 91. Oh my god. This was a wasted trip. You are listening at novelfull.audio. In just a few minutes, all the dark fire dragon beasts were killed by Dong Lei on the spot. Dong Lei, who was riding the 9-star Thunder Flame Tiger, heard the system voice prompts one after another. You successfully killed the dark fire dragon beast, legendary vice sect leader, and obtained 156.4 million experience points, 50 attribute points, and 165W military value. Congratulations, you triggered the random 100-fold increase, and you obtained 12.165 billion experience points, 5,841 attribute points, and 1.635Y military value. You successfully killed. Then, Dong Lei continued to touch the corpse and pick up things, accompanied by the voices from the system. Dong Lei listened and looked at the things in his bag. Congratulations on triggering the random 100-fold amplification, you have obtained, Saint's Fragment, *2144. Congratulations on triggering the random 100-fold amplification, you have obtained, Outlaw Crazy General Leggings, Quasi-King level. Congratulations on triggering the random 100-fold amplification, you have obtained, Dark Fire Dragon Fragment, *3541. Congratulations on triggering the random 100-fold amplification, you have obtained, 10-fold experience book, *221W. Congratulations on triggering the random 100-fold amplification, you have obtained, random plane transmission axis. Congratulations on triggering the random 100-fold amplification, you have obtained, Outlaw Crazy General Leggings. Congratulations. This time I got 2 Quasi-King level leggings, and they are exactly the same, Outlaw Crazy General Leggings, Quasi-King level, 45. Level category, Quasi-King level, defense, 3541. Equipment bonus, 0.1. Constitution, plus 355.2. Agility, plus 321.3. Strength, plus 311.4. There is an 80% chance to increase penetration damage by 80% when attacking the enemy, and the duration is permanent. 5. There is an 80% chance to increase your movement speed by 180% while attacking the enemy, and the duration is permanent. Function introduction. In addition to its handsome appearance, the Outlaw's Crazy Leg Guards also have powerful defense properties, and they also increase speed. Soon, Dong Lei put these 2 pieces of equipment on, now, except for the necklace and belt equipment, which are still legendary, the rest are all Quasi-King level. Dong Lei used the stacking damage skill on these 2 leggings. Congratulations. Outlaw's Crazy Leg Guards, Quasi-King level, successfully triggered a random 100-fold increase under your stacking damage. Outlaw's Leg Guards, Quasi-King level, equipment has an additional bonus, with a 100% chance to increase penetration damage by 1854% when attacking enemies, and the duration is permanent. Congratulations. Outlaw's Leg Guards, Quasi-King level, successfully triggers a random 100-fold increase under your stack damage. Outlaw's Leg Guards, Quasi-King level, equipment has an additional bonus, with a 100% chance to increase your movement speed by 19,250% while attacking enemies, and the duration is permanent. Instantly, after this movement speed is added up, Dong Lei and his enemies will move very fast when they attack. Even, it is twice as fast as the current Mount 9-star Thunder Flame Tiger. This makes Dong Lei quite surprised and happy. He didn't expect that under this stacking damage skill, after a random 100-fold increase, his movement speed when attacking will become so fast. At the same time, the players of the Wind and Thunder Empire who came one after another saw the bodies of 5 huge dark fire dragon beasts lying there, and all the things on their bodies were divided up by Dong Lei. Suddenly, the players of the Wind and Thunder Empire wailed all over the field, shouting that the big brother Shurfong was Nyobi. Wow! It's been less than 10 minutes, and the beasts that rushed out of the dark cellar of our Wind and Thunder Empire have been solved by Shurfong alone. My dear mother. It's a waste of time. Big brother Shurfong Nyobi. Forget it if there is none. Let's take a break. I haven't peed in a day. The great god Shurfong is indeed a great god. His Empire game players are frantically trying to resist the dark beasts. We are just watching in vain. Dong Lei's figure at this moment has entered the dark cellar through the passcard, outside the never-sleeping city, with the retreat of the undead army, after the cleanup by Corps Commander Guijin, Corps Commander Daphne and others. The never-sleeping city returned to peace. However, troops have also come to the never-sleeping city to defend it, with Corps Commander Kamita Lei the head of the army. Gong Sun He and others entered the never-sleeping city in batches. There were also several strong men from the Fenglai Empire, at least at the king level, who also entered the never-sleeping city. The crisis of the head of the army, Guijin, almost frightened the king of the Fenglai Empire to death. The situation of almost having no descendants made the king of Fenglai immediately command some strong men to go over and protect secretly. And Tang Tingbai was not appointed by the king of Fenglai, so, her actions were still alone, if she didn't ask for help. She had helped her many times and gave her generous things. For this favor, Tang Tingbai had to choose to protect the head of the army, Guijin. If this were not the case, Tang Tingbai would have already gone through the dark cellar to look for her Koda Duck. As for whether she can find it or not, Tang Tingbai doesn't care, as long as is together. At this moment, smoke and dust passed by outside the Evernight city, and a figure appeared. Is this brat so powerful? You actually almost killed S apprentice Jiji, Blind Eye, Mei Chao and Madness. Yes, yes. Must find a way to get S daughter to marry a brat like you. I really like it. He 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 he. As for this Guijin, he's a loser. Humph. Even if I die, I will never agree to let my daughter marry such a stupid guy. I heard that some messy waiters went to the white-lit area to cook like crazy. How can a guy with a bad cold become his son-in-law, that just in a corner of the city that never sleeps? The Dark Master Huang Yaoshi also saw his apprentice Mei Chao going crazy and leading his undead general Dong Lei to fight. As a result, Dong Lei resisted Mei Chaofeng's 5 people by himself, and Mei Chaofeng was left with a weak health. He turned around in a panic and tried to escape. In the end, his apprentice Mei Chaofeng was killed by a woman with terrifying strength. The dark mage Huang Yaoshi, who originally wanted to provide support, stopped forcefully. After that, Huang Yaoshi himself quickly left the Evernight city, not intending to take risks and start a battle with this woman. As for Tang Tingbai, she only cared about Dong Lei's safety and did not notice the dark mage Huang Yaoshi hiding in the corner. And who is that woman? How come you have such terrifying strength? And you still look so young. Dark Archmage Huang Yaoshi looked at the nightless city in the distance and muttered to himself. Then, another puff of smoke passed by, and the Dark Master Huang Yaoshi disappeared again. The dark cellar is very vast, and it belongs to another world. Chapter 92. When the time comes, tell Tang Tingbai that Koda Duck is dead. You are listening at novelfull.audio. It is a world ruled by alien beasts. The place Dong Lei just entered was just the periphery of the dark cellar. As he went deeper from the periphery, the strength of the alien beasts increased and became stronger. The more powerful the alien beast group or alien beast, the more they would occupy the most central and deep positions, to show how strong their strength is. With Dong Lei's current strength, he can only wander around the periphery. In Dong Lei's opinion, those below the quasi-king level are invincible, and the king-level alien beasts still have the possibility of winning. When it comes to alien beasts above the quasi-emperor level, Dong Lei needs to avoid them. It is conceivable how terrifying the overall strength of the alien beasts in the entire dark cellar and the alien beasts in the depths are. The dark dragon beast that rushed over was just like a small leader of the beasts on the periphery. Compared with the beasts in the depths, the difference in strength was huge. Legendary beasts were really not worth seeing in the dark cellar. Like minions, they were randomly ordered by other beasts and dared not resist at all. Once they resisted, they would die under the quasi-king and king-level beasts, and they could be killed at will. If any legendary beast was outside, it would be a situation of being unruly and killing people, not to mention the quasi-king level beasts, which destroyed towns in various empires at will. After all, the strong ones above the king level often do not show their traces. Many of them do not care about the destruction of the cities of these empires. Only enough benefits can drive them to act. However, in the dark cellar, the quasi-king level and king level beasts are only in the periphery, occupying the advantage. In the depths, they are just minions, and they can't resist the attacks of the terrifying beasts in the depths. The beasts in the dark cellar are divided into ruling and governing. The powerful beasts can of course control and command the beasts with lower strength than them. Moreover, in the dark cellar, there are strong men from various justice camps and evil camps. This time, the riot in the dark cellar forced some of its strong men to leave the dark cellar, first avoid the disaster that this time may bring to them, and even the danger of death. However, there are still some strong men in the dark cellar. They have the same idea as Dong Lei, to get more things from it, which makes them deeply trapped in it. After Dong Lei entered the dark cellar, he was on a random ground outside the dark cellar. Every time the pass card entered, it was randomly placed outside the dark cellar. It was impossible for it to be the same ground, so that the strong men and armies of each empire could not quickly combine to encircle and suppress the alien beasts in the dark cellar. Of course, the empires could not combine to attack the alien beasts in the dark cellar, not to mention, the strength of the dark cellar is not weaker than the 4 empires outside it. As for the place to go back, just stand on the ground outside the dark cellar, lift up and click the word return on the pass card, and you can go back to the place you came from. The same is true for entering the dark cellar. When you walk into the incomplete God level formation, click enter to enter the dark cellar, the chaos game that keeps up with the times. It seems to be quite low-tech. In the game, shouldn't you land in bits and pieces and let your body disappear? Dong Lei felt helpless and couldn't change anything. Would Tang Tingbai's pet Koda Duck come here? Does this pet have a pass card? The mission of this game is a bit confusing. Or, did you rely on your own strength to pass through the layers of incomplete God-level formations and enter the dark cellar? This is unlikely. It is possible that you were caught by others and brought into the dark cellar. Damn, almost everyone who can enter the dark cellar is at the king level. It's not easy to fight. Dong Lei looked at the dense forest in front of him. Just the piles of grass were almost up to his knees. Moreover, the entire dark cellar was very wide and vast. It is even larger than the area of the 4 empires. Finding a pet Koda Duck of Tang Tingbai is like looking for a needle in a haystack. Seeing this, Dong Lei shook his head and said helplessly, "Wow, how can I find Tang Tingbai's pet Koda Duck?" When the time comes, just tell Tang Tingbai that the Koda Duck is dead. Let's finish my 5 job transfer tasks first. Indeed, Tang Tingbai's mood and love for Dong Lei far exceed Koda Duck. At this moment, Tang Tingbai has long cared less about his pet Koda Duck than Dong Lei. If it dies, then, after saying that, Dong Lei rode the 9-star Thunder Flame Tiger and started to move, looking for the Dark Brother Forest Beast. The Dark Brother Forest Beast, with the strength of a legendary deputy sect leader, is one of the strongest beasts outside the dark cellar, although, the legendary Vice Master of the Dark Forest Beast is not as powerful as the Dark Dragon Beast. But it is a situation of a tyrant on the periphery of the dark cellar. There is still a certain degree of dominance, which is a group situation. Compared with the Dark Dragon Beast, it is more gregarious, and the Dark Dragon Beast is usually a solitary one. If it weren't for the fact that so many Dark Dragon Beasts rushed in this time, it would be a very rare situation. For Dong Lei, it should be quite easy to find the legendary Vice Master of the Dark Forest Beast. As long as the legendary Vice Master of the Dark Forest Beast is killed quickly, it will not attract the attention of some powerful beasts, so that he can quickly complete his 5 job transfer tasks. However, this time, the 5 job transfer tasks still need to stay in the dark cellar for 5 days. Even if Dong Lei was offline, it did not mean that his 5 days were one of them. Only the time when he was online could be counted as the accurate 5 days. This point was clearly arranged by the chaos game for gamers. As a result, Dong Lei rode the 9-star Thunder Flame Tiger and wandered around the periphery, searching for a while. He used the Great Fault Staff to freeze and kill some simple and weak beasts. Still no trace of the Dark Brother Forest Beast was found, which surprised and puzzled Dong Lei. Damn, in his previous life, when he entered the dark cellar, the Dark Brother Forest Beasts were waiting for him to kill in groups. As a result, Dong Lei was running and killing. Now, he didn't find any Dark Brother Forest Beasts, which really made Dong Lei spit sweet words. Later, Dong Lei gradually discovered the problem. Chapter 93, What's the point of dating if you don't study at school? You are listening at novelfull.audio. The riot in the entire dark cellar caused many of its original beasts to leave their habitats and go to various places. It also caused the dark fire dragon beast to rush out of the incomplete god-level formation, causing chaos to the great empire. The dark goblin beast that was originally on the periphery may have entered the deeper part of the dark cellar. That's why Dong Lei searched for a while but didn't find any trace of the dark goblin beast. At this time, Dong Lei also felt a wave of fatigue, so he found a relatively safe place and went offline. Dong Lei just walked out of the game cabin and ran to the toilet, let his two brothers be relieved. In this century, human excretion has been greatly improved, and more urine and feces can be stored. After all, with high-end medical technology, kidneys are delicious, organs are even better than those of people in the previous century, of course. All the internal organs. During these days, Dong Lei relied on supplements to maintain his body and spirit. Now, he can finally take a break. After walking out of the toilet of more than 100 square meters, Dong Lei walked into the bathroom of 300 square meters. In the bathroom of artificial intelligence, Dong Lei lay in the bathtub like a corpse. After being massaged and bathed by various high-tech for more than half an hour, Dong Lei, who was comfortable, walked out of the bathroom with his bare chest. After that, Dong Lei stretched his body, took a deep breath, and then slowly exhaled. At this time, it's time to have a good meal. After Dong Lei got dressed, he wore a handsome suit and slippers, and sprayed a few high-end perfumes, and then walked out of his bedroom. He went to his restaurant, and the menu in front of the table was a display screen. After Dong Lei chose what he liked, a few minutes later, a bald, big-bellied chef, with a forced smile, put the food in front of Dong Lei with both hands. Dong Lei looked at the bald chef and asked in a low voice, "Where is the beautiful chef? Didn't she come today?" Dong Lei wore a suit and sprayed perfume just to meet the former female chef. After all, the shaking figure and tall long legs at that time, Dong Lei still remembers it vividly, and wants to develop a little relationship with her. In the game, I tried cooking. In reality, I am even more hungry and thirsty. I urgently need to let my brother try what is the delicious food in the world. When he was in school, Dong Lei was the kind of handsome guy, but he was always very low-key and worked hard to learn. In front of female classmates, Dong Lei was not only handsome, but also rich, a top student, and a man who was soft with awards. How could such a ruthless person not be liked by female classmates? Every time Dong Lei went back with his school bag, it was full of love letters. This kind of thing started in kindergarten. Several times Dong Lei was blocked by girls passing by, or in groups. Dong Lei was so scared that he didn't dare to go home, and took out his books to study tirelessly. Then, after entering college, this irrational behavior gradually became less. Female classmates often invited him out for dinner and travel, no matter how beautiful she was. Even when Dong Lei was choking, he still refused them righteously. His parents taught him to study hard. If he doesn't study in school, what's the point of dating? Dong Lei is so regretful now. He was deeply poisoned by his parents. The ocean of knowledge filled his entire brain. The bald chef immediately understood what Dong Lei meant when he heard this, smiled and whispered in Dong Lei's ear, "Master, this female chef is in the kitchen. You want to see her, right? You come once, and let the female chef send you." Dong Lei raised his head and looked at the bald chef, nodding frequently, with a very appreciative look. Then, the bald chef also walked to the kitchen happily. "I'll ask Uncle Yang to give him an extra month's salary later." Thinking of this, Dong Lei almost forgot about his butler uncle. I don't know how he is doing in the game now. Dong Lei also allocated hundreds of millions of funds to his account before, so that he should at least get SS bonus. So Dong Lei took out his cell phone and called Uncle Yang. As a result, he heard the voice of playing the game. "Please call back later. Uncle Yang, he never added me as a friend since I asked him to." "You are old, why are you working so hard? After eating, take a break and enter the game." Dong Lei had no choice but to put down his cell phone, and with a happy look on his face, he quickly clicked on some menus on the screen. Then, the female cook he hadn't seen for many days walked in front of him again. This female cook looked about 3 years old, and her every frown and smile revealed an indescribable charm. She was like a peony flower about to bloom. Beautiful but not coquettish, gorgeous but not vulgar, charming and incomparable. Seeing this, Dong Lei's appetite was aroused, and he wanted to eat the delicious food she was holding. Hee hee. The real Dong Lei did not have the random hundredfold increase. After seeing this female cook, he just smiled foolishly. Master, the dessert you ordered is served to you. The female cook was wearing a chef's uniform, which could not resist her proud figure at all. Sit down, Dong Lei said after seeing the female cook put the dessert. Ah. Okay. The female cook was a little surprised, looked at Dong Lei with her eyes, and responded immediately. Then, she sat obediently opposite Dong Lei, a little nervous and scared. She thought this young master was going to fire her. After all, when she just cut the dessert, Bald Mazarine asked her to deliver it, and, he had a weird smile on his face, which made her quite nervous. Now, she carefully delivered the dessert, but was stopped by Dong Lei. What's your name? Dong Lei took out a fork and handed it to the beautiful cook, smiling and asked. Ah. This. The beautiful cook still took the fork obediently and said hurriedly. Master. My name is Kong Han Lu. Kong Han Lu. Let's eat together. Don't waste it if you can't finish it. Dong Lei pointed a fork and said to Kong Han Lu. Instead, he put the food that Bald Mazarine chef had just given aside. This is not good. Kong Han Lu was a little surprised and shocked that this young master actually asked her to share dessert with him. Kong Han Lu also liked this kind of dessert very much, but she couldn't afford it. After all, the unit price of the ingredients in this kind of dessert is a shocking and terrifying number. It is not something that an ordinary chef like her can afford. Eat it. Every grain of rice is hard-earned. Dong Lei looked at the shy Kong Han Lu, and he was also quite excited. He blurted out such words: window, _tabula equals window, _tabula, _tabula. Push, mode, thumbs, feed, 01, container, tabula, below, article, thumbnail, 300x250, placement, below article thumbnail, 300 by 250, target _type, mix. Chapter 94 Master, please don't fire me. You are listening at novelfull.audio. The ocean of knowledge filled Dong Lei's entire brain at once. This made Dong Lei say these words. Good, thank you, master. Later, dared to disobey Kong Han Lu, stretched out his hand and started to share the dessert with Dong Lei after Dong Lei finished talking about the famous saying every grain of hard work, he also felt a little embarrassed, so he just ate the dessert. Kong Han Lu, on the other hand, was frightened, with a nervous look on his face, fearing that he would be fired by Master Dong Lei. Now Kong Han Lu, after going through many rounds of interviews, has improved his cooking skills. Finally, he entered the Dong family and became an ordinary chef, responsible for Master Dong's daily food tasting. In Kong Han Lu's opinion, the treatment of the Dong family is very good. We can receive tens of thousands of dragon coins every month, which is enough to support our family's life. My younger brother Kong Dashing is still looking for a job. It's been 2 years, and I still haven't found it. The younger brother also has a girlfriend and supports his girlfriend in college, and Kong Han Lu's father is a good man who likes to eat, is lazy, drinks, gambles and prostitutes. Only my mother is left to set up a stall and do some business, plus her salary. In addition to the two of them, mother and daughter also need to provide for their own lives, including their younger brother, future sister-in-law, and father. She also knows when this day will turn around and she will dare to buy clothes, let alone cosmetics. When she arrived at Dong's house and got the chef's clothing, she felt that it was her most expensive clothing. Fortunately, the Dong family is also equipped with many cosmetics, clothing and other things that Kong Han Lu can use at will. This made Kong Han Lu very excited and happy, and he was even more loyal to the Dong family and dared to be presumptuous. Moreover, she could finally eat this kind of dessert costing thousands of dollars, which made her a little excited and happy despite being nervous. It can also make her dare to think about something, that is, tasting this dessert with the only young master of the Dong family. After a while, the dessert was finished. Dong Lei wanted to feel the atmosphere similar to his girlfriend, although this Kong Han Lu was several years older than, but in Dong Lei's opinion, it's better for women to be older because they can teach them cooking skills. It's delicious. Did you make it? Dong Lei raised his head and looked at Kong Han Lu. This beautiful face made him very excited and asked curiously. Young master, I am the one doing it. When Kong Han and Lu Qingqing spoke, their eyes were already red, and they began to misunderstand Dong Lei because she knew how to make sweets and wanted to fire her. Master, you want to fire me? In addition to being good at desserts, I am also very good at making with other ingredients. Kong Han Lu said that was wrong, but in terms of ordinary cooking skills, it was quite delicious. However, Uncle Yang may also recruit people into the Dong family to cook for Dong Lei. Huh? When did I say I was going to fire you? Dong Lei was stunned for a moment, understanding that Kong Han Lu suddenly said such words, and then asked in confusion. You're doing very well. Is Uncle Yang going to fire you? I'll talk to when the time comes, and will fire you. Ah. Then I misunderstood. I think you want to fire me, young master. Thank you, master. I will definitely work hard. When Kong Han Lu heard this, his body trembled with excitement, and he looked particularly excited and peaceful. This made Dong Lei look blank, his eyes fixed on the delicious ingredients. Kong Han Lu also saw Dong Lei looking at her, and immediately lowered his head shyly and stopped moving. Dong Lei also gradually recovered. After swallowing a few mouthfuls of saliva, he said to the shy Kong Han Lu. Don't worry. I haven't eaten your food yet. I'll order your food next time. You know everything. Which dish on the menu on the screen is yours? Dong Lei clicked on the screen on the table, and the screen slowly rose up so that both Dong Lei and Kong Han Lu could see it. Kong Han Lu heard this and heard the young master's personal confirmation, which made her very happy, and she quickly said to the menu on the screen. My chu menu is this tomato fried crocodile egg, hand-shredded cabbage supreme, mapo Jamaican coffee tofu. Wait a minute, this mapo Jamaican coffee tofu? Is it coffee beans used to make tofu? Dong Lei stretched his head, pointed at the menu on the screen, and asked curiously, there are hundreds of dishes on the menu on the entire screen. Chang Dong Lei has always maintained the habit of working hard for every meal, so he only needs to order 1 or 2 dishes to eat. If you think it's delicious, you'll order these dishes frequently, and only switch to other menu items until you vomit. Also, Dong Lei often eats in the kitchen. After all, supplements have to take over your life. Yes, this is a new product developed by me. Master, you can try it next time. Kong Han Lu showed a sweet smile, looked at Dong Lei with a little obsessed eyes, and answered. After she was fired, she discovered that Dong Lei was very handsome in a suit. Originally, he had a handsome face, and then added a suit and clothes to set it off, and finally had a charming perfume smell. Kong Han Lu looked a little confused, his eyes and love came out. Before, Kong Han Lu dared not look directly at Dong Lei, fearing that she would be fired by Dong Lei if she made a mistake. Now, after Dong Lei promised that she would not be fired, Kong Han Lu became a little bolder. Of course, she only secretly looked at Dong Lei's handsome face, and she was still not daring to mess around in other aspects. She was also close to 10 years old, and she was looking forward to cooking. Kong Han Lu looked at Dong Lei while talking about the menu, and her heart was trembling. Forget it, actually I want to taste. I said, you can leave. I also want to rest. Dong Lei actually wanted to say that he wanted to taste you, and this frivolous words came out. However, rationality chose to shut up, and knowledge once again filled his mind. Destroy the colored food. Good young master. Kong Han Lu immediately stood up, bowed slightly to Dong Lei, and then turned to walk towards the kitchen. Just when Kong Han Lu bent down, Dong Lei saw what he should see again. Dong Lei, who was thirsty, felt something gushing out of his nose, like blood, but it was sucked back by Dong Lei. After Kong Han Lu left, Dong Lei also went to his room to rest. After solving his cooking needs, Dong Lei exhaled, left the toilet, and returned to his bed. Dong Lei took out his mobile phone and clicked on some forum information about the game Chaos. Breaking news. The level of players in the Fonlei Empire game is far higher than that of other Empire game players. How to make friends with NPC ladies in the game and let them constantly give you gold coins and help you equip. Chapter 95. Please help me, everyone. You are listening at novelfull.audio. Gold coins 1:100, large amount, come and come. How to become the god of killing peaks. I am a friend of the god of killing peaks, and I will teach you how to upgrade faster. A bug was found. There is a man wearing a mask in the game who can release 2 skills. Dong Lei looked at this information helplessly, especially the message from that friend, which was obviously a lie, which made him speechless. Dong Lei clicked in and saw that he was charged 1,000 dragon coins and asked him to report randomly. Then, Dong Lei also released his own information announcement, relying on his identity as the god of killing peaks. He righteously said that he had no other so-called friends. I hope game players will not be deceived. It seems that he really has no friends. In fact, Dong Lei is studying and studying, so he really doesn't have many friends. When Dong Lei edited this statement, he felt a little sad. At the same time, in the lounge in the kitchen, in addition to Kong Hanlu and Bald Mazarine, there were 7 other chefs. Everyone present had almost nothing to do, and the young master and the housekeeper had ordered fewer menus recently. In addition to cooking for themselves, there was not much to do, and the work was very easy. At this time, Kong Hanliu's Huawei P354 mobile phone lit up. Kong Hanlu, who was a little dazed and shy with a red face, responded. When Kong Hanlu saw this message, he shouted to the other chefs. Everyone, please help me. The new Huawei P355 mobile phone is only 3.9 yuan on Pindaddy. If you help me, you can buy it for only 3.9. Bald Mazarine was stunned for a moment after hearing this, and then he also echoed. Is there such a good thing? Come on, help each other. I have downloaded the Pindaddy software a long time ago, waiting for this moment. I also want to buy it. And the rest of the chefs also joined in. Afterwards, they helped each other and called other friends and relatives to join in. In the end, there was still a difference of 0.001, forcing them to break into a curse, spit out fragrance, and stamp their feet in anger. Kong Hanliu's eyes glowed red, thinking that he was still 0.001 short, no more. Dong Lei looked at the unread messages on the Chaos platform on his mobile phone, and still showed 999 unread messages. Clicking on a few of them at random made Dong Lei shake his head helplessly. Brother Shifeng, can you give me your address? I want to have a deep exchange with you. Big brother, are you okay? Can I invite you to dinner? I want to ask you. Master, I want to establish a game alliance and need your strong support. The price is negotiable. My contact number. My level is LV29. Can you help me complete 3 job transfer tasks? I can give you generous dragon coins. These messages seem useless to Dong Lei. After getting the information of deep communication, Dong Lei chose to add a friend and then closed the unread information, and this friend had a huge impact on Dong Lei's future. Even Dong Lei in his previous life didn't know the reason, since the entire Chaos Game forum is controlled by the mastermind Tianba. Dong Lei doesn't need to worry about his identity being leaked, and this added friend is not a problem. Of identity, then, Dong Lei looked at the early upgrade strategy information released before. He earned tens of millions of dragon coins again. It seems that a large number of game players are still very interested in his strategy information. There is no extra content information, so Dong Lei fell asleep, after staying up late for 2 days and 2 nights, plus the display of brotherly cooking skills in the bathroom just now. Dong Lei was already physically and mentally exhausted. Soon, Dong Lei fell asleep, and he had all kinds of dreams. At the same time, Uncle Yang also walked out of the game cabin, with an excited look on his face. He looked at the phone in his hand, which made him stunned for a moment. Master, you called me? Then, Uncle Yang patted his head, forgot about the game, and added Dong Lei as a friend. Also, it seems that he joined the wrong empire. After playing for a long time, he found that he joined the evil empire. In this way, he couldn't add friends. Who cares? When I grow up, I will find a way to help the master. Without thinking too much, Uncle Yang first rushed to the toilet quickly, and after feeling comfortable, he turned and went to Dong Lei's room. As a result, he found that Dong Lei was already asleep, so he didn't want to disturb him. He walked to the kitchen and took his special butler position. He could eat whatever he wanted. And the bald chef Mazarine whispered something about Dong Lei to him. Uncle Yang smiled and nodded frequently, as if he was finally able to eat cabbage. Then, Bald Mazarine left and made a phone call with a very serious tone. Investigate Kong Hanliu's family files for me. And send me Kong Hanliu's complete information. After hanging up the phone, Uncle Yang's eyes flickered a few times, and then he started to eat, drinking a bowl of soup first. In this century, they never considered the situation of being well-matched. Moreover, it is also difficult to be well-matched with their Dong family, as long as the young master is happy. When Dong Lei's parents told him, they hoped that he could find a good woman to marry. After all, the assets are enough for Dong Lei to spend several lifetimes. On the other hand, it is not necessary to cut off the rear. Dong Lei's parents finally realized before they died that their son should not study too much, but pick up girls. The next day, in the evening, Dong Lei woke up and slept very comfortably. Then, Dong Lei called Uncle Yang again. At this moment, Uncle Yang was snoring and couldn't wake up at all. Dong Lei mistakenly thought that Uncle Yang was doing something, so he walked to his room. As a result, Dong Lei also saw Uncle Yang sleeping soundly, snoring like thunder. Dong Lei hurriedly and carefully closed the door and went back to his room. After preparing the supplements, he re-entered his game. When Dong Lei entered the game, he heard a series of system sounds coming. Welcome to Chaos again. System prompt: the copy income is automatically collected. Get the reward: Thunder Flame Tiger, Gold Level, Mount Egg, 3 pieces, 6,000 gold coins. Congratulations, trigger the random 100-fold increase. Get, Thunder Flame Tiger, Epic Level, Mount Egg, 398 pieces, 680,000 gold coins. You are currently ranked first. Congratulations on getting the ranking reward and getting 1,000 gold coins. Congratulations, trigger the random 100-fold increase, get 440,000 gold coins. Dong Lei opened the world rankings, and some players have been promoted to LV29, window, _Tabula equals window, _Tabula dot push, mode, thumbs, feed, 01, container, Tabula, below, article, thumbnail, 300x250, placement, below article thumbnail, 300 by 250, target _type, mix. Chapter 96. I'll leave you an intact body. Don't thank me. You are listening at novelfull.audio. It seems that compared with my LV49 level, I am getting close soon. I have to speed up to complete my 5 job transfer tasks, so that my level can reach above 50. Little do I know that it takes at least 1 month for gamers to advance to LV30, not to mention LV40. Many gamers are stuck here and cannot advance. After all, we don't have as many powerful weapons and equipment as Dong Lei. And there is also a King Kong body. Another point is that the situation in advanced knowledge has made gamers stuck for a long time. After all, players don't just throw away master-level equipment like Dong Lei. When he arrived at his original position, Dong Lei would not find any problems because he was in a safe situation. The 9-star Thunder Flame Tiger slowly appeared beside Dong Lei. After Dong Lei rode it, he began to look for the situation of the Dark Goblin Beast again. In the end, the Dark Goblin Beast was still not found. 1 trace was found, but it was just a corpse, helpless. Dong Lei had to continue looking for the living Dark Goblin Beast. Then, Dong Lei first met the strong man of the evil camp. This strong man of the evil camp happened to have just killed a legendary beast. He heard the sound of Dong Lei coming over and turned to look at Dong Lei riding the 9-star Thunder Flame Tiger. Since Dong Lei and the evil strong man were in the bounty for life state, the evil camp still had a lot of information about the killing of the peak. When the evil strong man found Dong Lei riding the 9-star Thunder Flame Tiger, he called out, "Are you sure Feng, who is ranked 88th on the righteousness list?" "Yes, this one is Lei Yanhu." "What a coincidence. I just happened to be able to kill you. Not only can you get the reward of the fierce character Miju Sitai, but also the reward of the righteousness list." "Not bad. Not bad." The evil strongman in front of him slowly walked towards Dong Lei, showing a grim smile. Dong Lei looked at the information of this evil warrior through the panel. Insidious and cunning Huadu, Quasi-King Elite, level, 65. Level, Quasi-King Elite. HP, 550W/550W. Physical attack power / magic attack power, 35.88W, 39.55W. Defense, 10.56W. Skills, Wind and Thunder Technique, Hand Seal Technique, Jiang Yi Pestle Technique, Tantric Heart Technique, poisonous power, messenger introduction. Among the evil warriors, he is one of the strongest quasi-kings. You, a quasi-king elite from the evil camp, are here to show off to Dong Lei. Are all the evil warriors arrogant for a while and then come to die? Dong Lei shook his head at this insidious and cunning Huadu and sighed, feeling helpless. If there was no faulty staff, Dong Lei would have to fight with the sinister and cunning Huadu for half a day, kill this sinister and cunning Huadu. But it may attract the attention of other beasts and strong men in the dark cellar, and rush over. Now. Killing this sinister and cunning Huadu is simply a piece of cake. Moreover, if you kill him seriously, it only takes a few seconds. When the sinister and cunning Huadu saw Dong Lei's expression, he mistakenly thought that he had accepted his fate, and he became even more proud and arrogant, laughing heartily. Ha ha ha, kid, just stand there now and don't move. I can still leave you a whole body. Otherwise, the body is separated. After saying that, the sinister and cunning Huadu raised the pestle, moved his feet, and rushed towards Dong Lei quickly. Moreover, the Jiangyi pestle emitted a strong light, and as long as it was within the attack range, it could attack Dong Lei at any time. Dong Lei did not say much. From the beginning, it was this sinister and cunning Huadu who was talking nonsense, and was particularly arrogant. Dong Lei was unambiguous. The faulty staff in his hand was emitting a strong light, and within the attack range, it was directly shot towards the sinister and cunning Huadu. In an instant, 10 golden dazzling sword beams blasted towards the sinister and cunning Huadu. Such a terrible scene made the sinister and cunning Huadu's face change, and he stopped his steps abruptly and quickly displayed his skills. What? 10 skills? Are you an emperor? Ah. No. The cunning Huadu released a skill and, gain player level correspondence, black iron LV1, LV10, bronze 11 to 20, silver 21 to 30, gold 31 to 40, diamond 41 to 49, 5 job transfers, epic 50 to 59, master 60 to 69, legend 61 to 70, quasi-king 71 to 80, king 81 to 90, quasi-emperor 91 to 100, emperor 100 to 200, quasi-saint 201 to 500, saint 501, 1000, demigod 1001 to 9999, god 10,000. There is still a little difference from the NPC level, but it is close in terms of strength. Dong Lei is now at the diamond level and has not reached the emperor level. The emperor level can indeed possess special strengths, and can use more skills. It is conceivable how perverted Dong Lei's SSS level 5 job transfer tasks are. I saw that the sinister and cunning Huadu released a gust of wind that spun and rolled. After being bombarded by 2 golden sword beams released by Dong Lei's LV10 golden snake sword technique, skill, he disappeared without a trace. Then there were 14 more golden sword beams shooting at the sinister and cunning Huadu. This made the sinister and cunning Huadu look terrified, and he moved his body quickly, trying to dodge the attacks of these golden sword beams. As a result, the sinister and cunning Huadu avoided the attacks of 2 golden sword beams, but the remaining 12 golden sword beams all hit the sinister and cunning Huadu's body. Boom! 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 -25W, -28W, -31W. -35W. Instantly, the sinister and cunning Huadu became a state of low health, and was also affected by the effect of the faulty staff, and became a frozen state. Through the panel, Dong Lei found that the sinister and cunning Huadu had only a few hundred drops of blood left. At this moment, under the influence of the freeze, the sinister and cunning Huadu's head was still emitting a few drops of blood. The sinister and cunning Huadu was already frozen and unable to speak, leaving only a frozen expression of fear. Dong Lei rode the 9-star Thunder Flame Tiger to the sinister and cunning Huadu and said with a smile, "I'll leave you a whole body. Don't thank me. By the way, you can't say it." Then, Dong Lei took the faulty staff and made a normal attack. As the ice of the insidious and cunning Huadu was broken, it fell on the ground. The blood volume of the insidious and cunning Huadu was completely emptied, and he lost his life. You successfully killed Insidious and Cunning Huadu, Quasi-King Elite. You got 490W experience points. 20 attribute points, and 95 W military value. Congratulations on triggering the random 100-fold increase. You got 494.2 million experience points, 2,610 attribute points, and 9985 W military value. Then, Dong Lei searched the whole body, and heard the voice of the system next to him. Congratulations on triggering the random 100-fold increase. You have obtained 20 times experience book, *1.22 W. Congratulations on triggering the random 100-fold increase. You have obtained Lazarus Necklace of Enlightenment, Quasi-King level. Congratulations on triggering the random 100-fold increase. You have obtained Gold Coins, *335W. Window, _tabula equals window, _tabula, _tabula. Push, mode, thumbs, feed, 01, container, tabula, below, article, thumbnail, 300x250, placement, below article thumbnail, 300 by 250, target _type, mix. Chapter 97 The Golden-Haired Evil Lion. Thanks to the King-level Deputy Sect Leader. You are listening at novelfold.audio. Congratulations on triggering the random 100-fold amplification. You have obtained the Warlock Belt of Fame, Quasi-King level. Congratulations on triggering the random 100-fold amplification. You have obtained the Atlanta Bow of Decay, Legendary level. Congratulations. After the search was completed, Dong Lei quickly opened the package and first looked at the Lazarus Necklace of Enlightenment, Quasi-King level, Lazarus Necklace of Enlightenment, Quasi-King level, level 54. Level, Quasi-King level, defense, plus 1.65 W. Equipment attachment bonus, 0.1. Defense plus 2654.2. Constitution plus 3452.3. 40% probability, when attacking the enemy, increase the damage stacking of spell penetration by 10%, and the duration is 100 seconds. Function introduction. The most terrifying thing about the Lazarus Necklace of Enlightenment is its terrifying spell penetration damage stacking characteristics. Then, Dong Lei looked at the belt equipment again. Warlock Belt of Fame, Quasi-King level. Level 55. Level, Quasi-King level, defense, plus 2867. Equipment attachment bonus, 0.1. Defense plus 3985.2. Constitution plus 4684.3. 50% chance to increase 20% defense stacking when attacking the enemy, lasting for 100 seconds. Function introduction. Warlock Belt of Fame is often owned by famous people, and its defense is also amazing. Dong Lei quickly equipped these two pieces of equipment on his body. Congratulations. Lazarus Necklace of Enlightenment, Quasi-King level, successfully triggers a random 100-fold increase under the blessing of your overlay damage skill. Lazarus Necklace of Enlightenment, Quasi-King level, equipment attachment bonus, 100% probability, increase spell penetration 1988% damage stacking when attacking the enemy, and the duration is permanent. Congratulations. Warlock Belt of Fame, Quasi-King level, successfully triggers a random 100-fold increase under the blessing of your overlay damage skill. Warlock Belt of Fame, Quasi-King level, equipment attachment bonus, 100% probability, increase 2651% defense stacking when attacking the enemy, and the duration is permanent. Now, without the Gale Fashion effect, the overall defense has only decreased a little bit, but the damage has increased more, or the spell penetration damage stacking. In Dong Lei's opinion, the damage was extremely terrifying. One more thing, that is, Dong Lei's equipment has now reached the Quasi-King level. If it weren't for the ability of a diamond knowledge, Dong Lei would not have been able to equip himself with Quasi-King level, although the battle with the sinister and cunning Huadu was extremely short. But Dong Lei also found that the surroundings seemed to hear the sound of his battle with the sinister and cunning Huadu. The woods in the distance shook slightly, which made Dong Lei's eyes focus, and he quickly took back his Mount 9-star Thunder Flame Tiger. Then, Dong Lei quickly stepped on his feet and jumped onto a tree hiding not far away. He wanted to see who was coming. More than 10 seconds later, 4 figures appeared where Dong Lei was. Dong Lei saw the information of these 4 figures through the panel. Xie Sun, the golden-haired evil lion, king-level deputy sect leader, level, 79. Level, king-level deputy sect leader. HP, 899W/899W. Physical attack power / magic attack power, 54.66W, 60.22W. Defense, 14.66W. Skills, Lion's Roar Technique, 7 Wounds Fist Technique, Iron Shirt Technique, Mixed Heart Technique, Luoyen Holy Miasma, Messenger Introduction, a powerful evil king-level deputy sect leader, with a fierce personality and extremely terrifying strength. Beast-like Swoleng Song, Quasi-King level deputy sect leader, level, 59. Level, Quasi-King level deputy sect leader. HP, 750W/750W. Physical attack power / magic attack power, 39.54W, 42.21W. Defense, 13.45W. Skills, Ice Palm, Cold Air Aura, Jade Advanced Technique, Songshan Sword Technique, Broken Heart Miasma, Messenger Introduction, Quasi-King level deputy sect leader. A strong man with extremely high martial arts skills and a lot of tricks, arrogant and arrogant, let me be punished, Quasi-King level deputy sect leader, level, 68. Level, Quasi-King level deputy sect leader. HP, 530W/530W. Physical attack power / magic attack power, 32.34W, 35.12W. Defense, 11.45W. Skills, Flame Evil Palm, Face-to-Face Wind Method, Eagle Fighting Rabbit Technique, Star Absorbing Technique, Akala Vidyaraja Technique, Messenger Introduction. Among the evil strongmen, even among the Quasi-King level deputy sect leaders, he is an extremely powerful figure. Infinitely powerful Dalba, Quasi-King Elite, level, 65. Level, Quasi-King Elite. HP, 550W/550W. Physical attack power / magic attack power, 33.49W, 35.41W. Defense, 12.44W. Skills, Supreme Power Technique, One Force Breaking Technique, Mind Magic, Chilua Magic Power, Killworm Demon Dance, Messenger Introduction. A relatively evil character among the Quasi-King elites. When Dong Lei saw the golden-haired evil lion Xie Sun, his face changed, and he held his breath, not daring to move his body. This golden-haired evil lion Xie Sun was no less powerful than the dark wizard Huang Yaoshi. He was also one of the best in the king level of the evil camp. Unexpectedly, the golden-haired evil lion Xie Sun also came into the dark cellar. Moreover, the other beasts, Swoleng Song, the arrogant Runwishing, and the powerful Dalba, were also extremely powerful in the Quasi-King level of the evil strongmen. However, as long as they were at the Quasi-King level or below, Dong Lei was not afraid at all. What he cared about most was the golden-haired evil lion Xie Sun, who was not his enemy now. The big fault staff could not freeze him. If he was discovered by him, he would start to run for his life. It seems that entering the dark cellar is quite dangerous. On the outskirts of the strange beasts, we encountered such a powerful evil camp. It was Xie Sun, the golden-haired evil lion, who was a deputy leader of the king level. If it was an ordinary evil camp king level, Dong Lei would still be able to fight. Even killing a king level strongman is also possible. However, Xie Sun, the golden-haired evil lion, is not an ordinary king level strongman. My lord, Huadu seems to have been killed after being frozen. This kind of strength can only be done by an emperor-level strongman. Swoleng Song, who was like a beast, stepped forward to investigate Huadu's death. He looked panicked and said to Xie Sun, the golden-haired evil lion, hurriedly. What? Emperor-level? Xie Sun, the golden-haired evil lion, changed his face, and the other two Renwishing and Dalba also turned pale. For them, the emperor-level strongman is not someone they can mess with. Even the blonde evil lion Xie Sun is one of the strong ones in the king level, but in front of the emperor-level strong, he is just like an ant, and can be killed by a casual pinch. Suddenly, the blonde evil lion Xie Sun was about to call everyone to leave here quickly, unwilling to stay. After all, in their opinion, there is a huge gap in strength, and they can't be defeated. At this time, the blonde evil lion Xie Sun's eyes turned white, like a blind man, and he became suspicious. From turning around and wanting to leave at the beginning, he went forward to personally inspect Huadu's body. As a result, the blonde evil lion Xie Sun breathed a sigh of relief, stood up, and said to Zhuo Lingcang and others. No, it wasn't killed by the Emperor level strong. Chapter 98 Sir. You better come out. You are listening at novelfull.audio. If an Emperor level expert were to kill him, Huadu, he wouldn't need so many attacks. Look. Huadu's body obviously withstood dozens of attacks, and he died after being frozen. If he were an Emperor level warrior, he would only need 2 or 3 attacks. Huadu would be dead. Frozen is not necessarily only for king level powerhouses. Some quasi-king level and king level possess this special strength. One more thing is that everything on Huadu's body has been robbed. If it were another king level powerhouse, it would be something from a quasi-king level person. Emperor level powerhouses don't even care. They are not even willing to touch Huadu's body. One more thing, this is just the outskirts of the dark cellar, and the Emperor will not stay in this place at all. The blonde evil lion Xiesher looked around and slowly continued to ask. Left cabin, Renwo, and the 3 of you just noticed that there was any movement in other directions when we came over? I think this person is still somewhere not far away. As expected of Xie, the blonde evil lion, he could tell with his senses that people were hiding around him and didn't seem to leave. Moreover, I also found out that it was not an Emperor-level expert who killed Huadu, rather, it can be something that a quasi-king or king-level strong person does. This made Dong Lei, who was hiding in the tree. His eyes narrowed and his scalp felt numb. He felt that this blonde evil lion Xie was really scary, not only in terms of strength compared with the lonely sword demon Ling Hukong, but also in terms of consciousness. He is second to none. Huadu's death may have deceived others, but there was no way to deceive him. In the eyes of the beast, his understanding was indeed correct. It is true that only Emperor-level experts can use effects such as freezing to cause their opponents to be frozen. However, according to Xie, the blonde evil lion, things are not as simple as imagined. After all, the Emperor would hardly stay outside this dark cellar, it should be somewhere deeper in the dark vault. Moreover, if Boz Insidious and Cunning Huadu was killed by the Emperor, there would be no need to attack so many times. With a few hits, he could instantly kill the Cunning Huadu with his powerful damage. One more thing. That is, things were obviously taken away from Huadu's body. Almost all of them were taken away, and nothing was left. That proves even more that it couldn't have been an Emperor-level strongman who killed Huadu. The blonde evil lion Xie Shimo is a king-level deputy sect, who is responsible for combat and other aspects. He has more knowledge and understanding of the situation than other strong men in the evil camp. Therefore, according to Xie, the blonde evil lion, they did not see any movement in other directions before they came over. Means that the person who killed Huadu should not be far away, or hide in a certain position and watch their situation. Your Excellency, you'd better come out. The fact that you killed Huadu shows that you are a bit more powerful. I, the blonde evil lion, died here to make the decision. As long as you come out, I will spare your life. If you hand over all your belongings and Huadu's things to me, I can let you go. That the blonde evil lion Xiesher looked around, his voice was loud, and he shouted, even from a distance of 100 meters, and can be heard clearly. At this time, they were no different than animals, arrogant, but they were also extremely powerful. The 3 people in Darba held the weapons in their hands tightly, and gradually dispersed around and began to patrol. In such a situation, the blonde evil lion Xiesher was no different from a beast, and the evil eyes of Zhuo Lingchang and others looked like it. It is obvious that Xie, the blonde evil lion, is just talking. As long as Dong Lei dares to step out, he will definitely face attacks from powerful people from their evil camp. Let him kill the enemy who killed Huadu. Faced with what the blonde evil lion Xie said, how could Dong Lei just walk out like this? He was not stupid. How can you believe what people from the evil camp say? Moreover, Dong Lei is on the righteous list among the evil camps and has a dead bounty status. If you come out, you will definitely be hunted down by these people. There is no way I can forgive him. Although Dong Lei doesn't care about forgiveness or not, at this moment, Dong Lei stood on the tree and could see more clearly the intentions of the blonde evil lion Xie and the beast-like Zhuo Lingchang and others. Just jump down and give something to the blonde evil lion Xie. This is simply impossible. Besides, it's not that Dong Lei can't escape, it's just that it's very troublesome. Just stay close to this tree and wait for the blonde evil lion Xie and others to leave. After all, Dong Lei did not intend to fight with the blonde evil lion Xie and others. At that time, if more powerful people are attracted, even powerful people from the evil camp with quasi-emperor strength come over, then Dong Lei really had no way to escape. Even if it is reborn hundreds of times, it will probably take a long time. The pass card can only be used when it is relatively safe and not attacked. At this time, the blonde evil lion Xie saw that the surroundings were still silent, and no one took the initiative to come out. You still don't want to come out, right? In an instant, the blonde evil lion Xie turned his head and shouted at the three people, Zhuoleng Song, the beastly and arrogant Ren Wuxing, and Daoba, who were still powerful. Cover your ears. At the same time, the blonde evil lion Xie opened his big mouth and used his lion roar skill. The sound of the lion roar skill was loud and clear, and it was like a thunderous river rushing out, and the sound of the rushing was heard for miles. In an instant, the enemy's heart was broken, and the incredible power that shocked people was terrified. Lion roar, level 8. Effect, releases a series of terrifying sound waves, attacking the enemy and causing 80% damage, and can also make the enemy 40% confused for 5 seconds, and can detect the enemy's traces. Cooling down, 20. Blue bar consumption, 88 MP, proficiency, 0 out of 100. Function description, the exclusive skill of the golden-haired evil lion Xie, terrifying. After hearing the sound of the golden-haired evil lion Xie, the three people, Zhuoleng Song, the arrogant Ren Wuxing, and the powerful Daoba, quickly covered their ears. They were still affected by the terrifying sound caused by the skill of lion roar. Dong Lei saw with his own eyes the number of blood loss on the heads of Zhuoleng Song, the arrogant Ren Wuxing, and the powerful Daoba, 500, 900, 700. If it weren't for the beastly Zhuoleng Song and the arrogant Ren Wuxing, and the powerful Daoba and the other two, they would have covered their ears tightly, and they could have lost more. Chapter 99, The Brave and Arrogant King-Level Sect Leader of Nemo Star. You are listening at novelfull.audio. The purpose of the blonde evil lion Xie was to make the people hidden around him be affected by the lion roar skill instantly. If a bright red number appeared in his head, the blonde evil lion Xie and others would know where there were people, so that the blonde evil lion Xie and others could kill him and avenge the sinister and cunning Huadu. The sinister and cunning Huadu was also the blonde evil lion Xie's hand, and he just saw a legendary beast, the blonde evil lion Xie asked the sinister and cunning Huadu to slaughter him, and the sinister and cunning Huadu also followed the order to chase him. As a result, the first time he saw the sinister and cunning Huadu, he was already a corpse. Dong Lei didn't even cover his ears at this moment, and waves of sound swept over Dong Lei's body. As a result, a strong and invisible light shield appeared in front of Dong Lei, resisting all the sound wave attacks. It did not cause any impact on Dong Lei, not to mention losing blood, so that the golden-haired evil lion Xie and others could see the situation. Dong Lei has a body of diamond, and he is automatically exempted from all damage and control when he is imprisoned /stun /poisonous gas attacks. Therefore, Dong Lei is not affected by the lion roar skill released by the golden-haired evil lion Xie. Instead, Dong Lei slightly raised the corner of his mouth and shouted in his heart, "You Xie, wait for me. Wait until I kill the dark brother forest beast, and in 5 days, I will kill you when I meet you." Dong Lei reached LV 59 after completing 5 job transfer tasks. Then the strength will be changed dramatically, and it can duel with the king-level strongmen. Moreover, it is almost invincible at the king level. Although Dong Lei can kill the king level now, it is very troublesome and difficult. But in the end, Dong Lei's blood volume will also drop to a low point. This is not what Dong Lei wants to see and will choose. Even after the golden-haired evil lion Xie used the lion roar technique skill, including the beastly Zhuoleng Song, the arrogant Ren Xing, and the powerful Daoba, no trace of anyone was found. This made the golden-haired evil lion Xie feel weird. How could it be like this? There was no one around here and hiding. Did they really leave? Could it be that I misunderstood? Was the sinister and cunning Huadu really killed by the emperor-level strongmen? Did he just want to torture the sinister and cunning Huadu? That led to the killing of the sinister and cunning Huadu so many times. But it is not an emperor-level way to plunder the sinister and cunning Huadu's body, right? Could it be that this emperor-level strongman is a stingy guy? Want everything? Look at everything. Thinking of this, the blonde evil lion Xie Sun felt a chill on his back. In an instant, the blonde evil lion Xie Sun called on everyone to leave here quickly, unwilling to stay any longer. Let's leave here. Go deeper into the dark cellar and get what you want. Let's go. That the blonde evil lion Xie Sun took the lead and left here, running quickly in the other direction. Dong Lei stayed in the tree for a while, waiting to make sure that Xie Sun, the golden-haired evil lion, and Zhuoleng Sang, the beast, had left before he could come out of the tree. Dong Lei understood this. In his previous life, he had experienced it several times, and he knew that even if he really left, he would still attack. All he needed was to wait for a while. About a minute passed. At this time, Dong Lei's body just moved slightly, breathing lightly, and wanted to jump out of the tree. Several figures came quickly and rushed to the place where Xie Sun, the golden-haired evil lion, and others were standing. Dong Lei chose to stay still, hold his breath, and wait for them to come. Soon, these people arrived at the place where the insidious and cunning Huadu died. After Dong Lei saw clearly, he found that there were 3 figures in total. Dong Lei looked at the personal information of these 3 people through the interface. Brave and arrogant Mimixing, King-level Sect leader, level, 79. Level, King-level deputy Sect leader. HP, 1233W/1233W. Physical attack power / magic attack power, 66.54W, 68.65W. Defense, 18.67W. Skills, Shaka throwing elephant method, white light. Divine step method, wind catching claw technique, Zen magic sword method, heavenly question dance technique, messenger introduction. A powerful king-level sect leader in the camp, he belongs to the Sunshine Empire, with an arrogant and cold personality. Jewelry Kashi, quasi-king-level deputy sect leader, level, 59. Level, quasi-king-level deputy sect leader. HP, 744W/744W. Physical attack power / magic attack power, 37.51W, 40.11W. Defense, 12.11W. Skills, Yellow Sand 10,000 Whips. Golden Whip Seizing, Jing Zai Monkey Technique, 9 Heavens Pearl Explosion, Mad Demon Chop, Messenger Introduction. A strong man of the quasi-king level deputy sect leader in the camp, belonging to the Yang Empire, owns a large number of shops and property deeds, and is a rich man. Sinister and greedy Zaiak Xiangzi, quasi-king level deputy sect leader, level, 58. Level, quasi-king level deputy sect leader. HP, 721W/721W. Physical attack power / magic attack power, 30.55W, 34.54W. Defense, 10.57W. Skills, Controlling Leaf Iron Technique, 3 Xiang Attack Techniques, Silver Crown Moon Technique, Iron Rod Chasing Technique, Wu Tianba Dance, Introduction of the Envoy, a quasi-king level deputy sect leader in the camp. He belongs to the Yang Empire. He is powerful and greedy. What? A brave and arrogant Nemo king-level sect with terrifying strength has also entered the dark cellar. Dong Lei's eyes flashed, and he felt a huge wave of emotion in his heart. He was extremely shocked. Brave and conceited, Nemoxing is one of the most powerful kings in the Yang Empire. In other words, there is no such thing. According to Dong Lei's previous life, the brave and arrogant Nemo Star is not only a king-level powerhouse in Yang Empire, almost among the 4 major empires, the brave and arrogant Nemo Star should be the strongest person at the king level. Moreover, the brave and arrogant Nemo Star has killed an emperor-level strong person. Not a quasi-emperor-level powerhouse, but a true emperor-level powerhouse. One can imagine how terrifying the brave and arrogant Nemo Star's strength is. Not that Dong Lei can compare now. Dong Lei did not jump up, but continued to remain motionless. It does not count as contact with the brave and conceited Nemo Star and others. After all, they are not from the same empire. Even if they are the same, they are still members of the Justice Camp. Dong Lei didn't want to go there either. It would be troublesome if was killed. People like Nemoxing pride themselves on their bravery and strength, and they don't care about justice or injustice at all. In the eyes of the strong, we don't need many reasons to kill someone. Lord Nemoxing, this person seems to have been killed by an Emperor-level powerhouse, but it doesn't seem like he was. After Ikushi inspected it, he raised his head to face Nemo Star and said seriously, "It's as if he didn't even say anything." Nemoxing came forward in person, took a few glances and then spoke. He is not a king-level strong person, but he is also a king-level powerful person, so he has such strength. There is a riot of alien beasts in the dark cellar right now. This is our chance to get more things. Hurry up, everyone. Walk.window _tabula equals window _tabula .push mode thumbs feed 01 container tabula below article thumbnail 300x250 placement below article thumbnail 300 by 250 target _type mix. Chapter 100. This Nemo Planet is far beyond my imagination. You are listening at novelfull.audio. Nemoxing was unwilling to stay, but led Ikushi and Xiao Xiangji to the depths of the dark cellar. Then, under the leadership of Nemoxing, the three rushed to the depths of the dark cellar. Dong Lei could see from a distance that when Nemoxing left, the corners of his mouth were slightly raised. Even though he couldn't see his face, he knew that he was smiling. Suddenly, Dong Lei felt a chill in his back, because he found that Nemoxing knew his location, and did not come to find him, but chose to leave. Ha! This Nemoxing is far beyond your imagination. How did he know your location? Is it his skill? I really want to kill him and plunder all his skills. Dong Lei paused for a minute after Nemoxing and his group of three left, and found that there were no other problems. At this time, Dong Lei took a deep breath, moved his body, jumped down from the woods, and landed on the ground. Then, Dong Lei did not plan to continue to summon the 9-star Thunder Flame Tiger. He walked and stopped riding the 9-star Thunder Flame Tiger to find the Dark Goblin Beast. After all, riding the 9-star Thunder Flame Tiger was too conspicuous, and it was easy to be seen by other beasts and evil camp strongmen. At first, Dong Lei did not expect that there were king-level strongmen in the dark cellar, even if they had already run into the depths of the dark cellar, but Dong Lei had to be on guard. Moreover, Dong Lei's movement speed was not slower than that of the 9-star Thunder Flame Tiger, and it was almost negligible. At the beginning, riding the 9-star Thunder Flame Tiger, if he was handsome. Now, my life is even more precious. At this time, Dong Lei walked and looked at the skills that he had just plundered after killing the treacherous Huadu through the panel. Among Huadu's 5 major skills, after the random amplification of 100 times, only the 2 skills, Poisonous Power, and Wind and Thunder, made Dong Lei feel that they were the best. In addition, Huadu is a quasi-king level strongman, much stronger than the skills of the overly conceited Yuan Qingji, so, after Dong Lei continued to leave some attribute points, he put all the other attribute points into his personal intelligence. Then, he upgraded the 2 skills, Poisonous Power, and Wind and Thunder, to LV10, LV10 Poisonous Power, level 10. Effect, release a huge amount of poison gas, shooting at the enemy to increase the damage within a 5-meter range by 13256%, cooldown, 25. Blue bar consumption, 520 MP, proficiency, 0/100. Function introduction, the skill of the insidious and cunning Huadu. The terrible poisonous fog is frightening. LV10 Wind and Thunder technique, level 10. Effect, release a gust of wind to attack the enemy, accompanied by the wind and thunder, causing 12,324% damage to the enemy, and fixing the enemy on the spot for 20 seconds. 100% fixation for those below the quasi-king level, 33.33% fixation for those above the king level, cooldown, 25. Blue bar consumption, 520 MP, proficiency, 0/100. Function introduction, the skill of the insidious and cunning Huadu, not only makes the enemy suffer strong damage from the wind and thunder, but also can fix the enemy on the spot. After Dong Lei put these 2 skills on the quick start, he began to run and continue to look for the Dark Goblin Beast. The entire dark cellar was very spacious, and Dong Lei ran along the way for a long time. More than half an hour had passed, but there was still no Dark Goblin Beast. Dong Lei looked into the depths of the dark cellar, took a deep breath, cursed inwardly, and rushed into the depths with gritted teeth. The dark cellar became wider and wider as he went deeper. Moreover, the strength of the beasts was constantly rising, and almost all the beasts above the king level were entrenched in various places. After half an hour of searching, Dong Lei heard a sound on the left and crossed the jungle. Finally, Dong Lei found the dark goblin beast. Moreover, there was more than one dark goblin beast. There were at least 10 dark goblin beasts, some of which carried a wooden hammer, some put the wooden hammer on their backs, and some clamped the wooden hammer on their armpits. The dark goblin beast had dark skin, was short and had ugly red eyes, and had these 2 long pointed ears, walking with their legs spread wide. This group of dark goblin beasts looked quite powerful and arrogant. When Dong Lei saw this group of dark goblin beasts, his face was full of joy and excitement. Finally, Dong Lei found the dark goblin beasts. Dark goblin beasts, legendary vice sect leader, level, 49. Level, legendary vice sect leader. HP, 9256W/9256W. Physical attack power / magic attack power, 48W, 58W. Defense, 34W. Skills, sand barrier, barrier, continuous stab, water dragon surround, light blade. Introduction to the beast. One of the powerful beasts in the dark cellar, it is a group-living beast with terrifying strength. Dong Lei, who was in the past, could find the dark goblin beast just by looking around the dark cellar. Now, after rushing into the depths of the dark cellar, he found the dark goblin beast. It was really not easy. Dong Lei held the big fault staff in one hand and the big mental retarded staff in the other, and rushed towards the group of dark goblin beasts with shining eyes. Finally, I found you, a group of dwarves. Kill you all. Suddenly, the weapons in Dong Lei's hands burst out with dazzling and terrifying light. There are a total of 15 dark goblin beasts. They live in groups, and because of the riot of the dark beasts in the depths, countless beasts are running away in all directions. Among them, the 15 dark goblin beasts rushed into the depths of the dark cellar while fleeing. They wanted to find a place to hide and avoid being killed by other beasts. After a few days, the dark goblin beasts found that there was no problem. Little did they know that the dark cellar was still rioting and was still in an upgraded state. The dark goblin beasts, stupidly, planned to go back to the place where the dark cellar surrounded them before, but they didn't expect that they were blocked by a human and rushed towards them. Suddenly, the 15 dark goblin beasts present began to roar and scream, holding the mallet in their hands and killing Dong Lei. Woo! 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 The 15 dark goblin beasts had just screamed for a while, and saw this human with their own eyes, releasing more than 10 rays of light. In an instant, the group of dark goblin beasts were enveloped by more than 10 LV10 poison power skills. These 15 dark goblin beasts were in the poisonous fog, and blood was gushing out of their heads. Moreover, under the influence of the great fault staff, all of them were frozen.